Hi, I'm JC at Motorcycle Superstore, and welcome to our 2016 Shift Racing Overview. What we're going to do today is give you a comparison of the different products that are in their lineup for 2016. The way it essentially breaks down is they have 3 sets of motocross gear, and they have 1 set for off-road or dual sport purposes. What we'll do is we'll put all the pants together, put all the jerseys together, and then all the gloves, and we'll compare the features that are similar and dissimilar between them so you can make a more informed decision. Now, as we're going through this, if you want to see the gloves, you can click directly to those by pushing the buttons down below. We have a section for all 3 of those categories. Generally speaking, they have the 3 motocross sets, which are the Assault, an entry-level, price point driven piece. You also have the Strike gear, which is sort of their midline, and then you have the Faction, which is the premier, heavily laden feature gear. Also, the off-road stuff is called the Recon. So now that you have an idea of what we're looking for, I want to point out real quickly that really there are no technical changes from any of this gear to 2015 and 2016. So what you'll see is a lot of new colors, great styling shifts, really on point with that. But as far as the technicality goes, you're looking at the same type of gear. So let's get into it right now. As we take a look at these pants, we're going to start with the Moto stuff and work over towards the Recon. These are arranged in terms of price for the Moto pants as well. Now, some of the similarities you'll find, they all have pre-curved knees that are overbuilt to accept the knee brace or knee cups that you might wear underneath them. They all feature interior liners, although there are some slight differences. They also have padding on the hips. You can remove those hip pads if you don't want to use them. It's very easy to do using the Velcro. Another thing to note on these pants, stretch panels built throughout, although the amount and the types are different. Also, they have different amounts of TPR. That TPR is there in order to beef up those areas that might get damaged in a crash. So let's talk about some of the differences now that you'll find. Over here is the Assault pant. This is the least expensive at $79 full retail. The cool thing about this is that it's very lightweight. A lot of racers choose this pant and this set of gear not because it's cheap, but because it's actually lighter than the rest of the stuff out there. So it's nice to see that. So some of the features here, 600 denier material on the construction. You will find a ratcheting design across the top. You're going to also find a similar construction on this Strike pant. It's a 600 denier, also the ratchet design closure. However, the stretch materials on this are much less. You're going to find it through the groin or through the inner thigh region. You're also going to find it across the top of the knee and across the top of the seat. Now, one of the things you'll notice as you move down this, the only TPR is right here on the knee, a very small piece. It's not vented either. So as we move over to this pant, you're going to start to see some of those differences lay out. This is the Strike, $129 full retail, lots of different colors here as well, similar closure. Also, both of these pants feature a rubber material around the inside of the waistband. That's going to help keep your jersey tucked in. The more expensive Faction pant doesn't have that. So that's a nice feature to see. Also, the stretch panels here, this is where it starts getting interesting. Through the groin, you now have a 4-way stretch or an X pattern. That's going to help in transitioning from seated to standing positions on the motorcycle. Also, there's slightly more stretch material down across the top of the knee, but the knee material has been beefed up as well, and you'll find they have heat shields that are made from leather on both legs. With the Assault pant, those are made from a 600 denier textile, so you're going to find a little bit higher quality with the leather here. It does add to the weight factor, however. Now, also, down below the knee, this is one area that gets interesting because it has mesh built into it. So about half of the material down here inside your boot is made from mesh. You're going to find some stretch material across the back as well, but that's going to help keep you a little bit more comfortable in those hotter temperatures. So as we bump up to the full-priced Faction pant, this thing's $169 full retail. This thing has a lot more going for it. 900 denier materials first and foremost, so it's a little bit more robust. Also, you'll notice the X pattern in the stretch, very similar to the Strike pant. However, what you'll notice down here across the knees is that stretch material has changed. It's now made from the same 900 denier coverage, so that's going to give you better reinforcement if you crash. It's a much heavier duty system. Also, the TPR badging on this is located not only in the knees, but also on the thighs. Neither of the lower price point pants are going to feature TPR on the thighs. But the one on the knee is the most impressive because it's actually designed to scoop air. It's part of a vent system that's going to help keep you cool. If you think about being seated, that pumps it right up your thighs. It's going to help keep you cool down during those hot, long motos. Also, dual leather heat shields on this one. However, those are embossed for a little bit better grip, also better styling. And the stretch panel on the back of these pants is a full yoke system. So you have additional stretch panel. It goes further. It also moves further as well. It's a little bit easier to get around on the bike. So that's a big difference on these pants. Another thing down below is that the entire lower leg is going to be stretch and mesh, so even better heat evacuation down there. This has a very large hole mesh in terms of its liner system. The 2 lower price point pants are more of a micro mesh. Those are all half length, so it keeps you very comfortable when you're inside. Now let's go over to the Recon and wrap it up. This is your off-road pant. over the boot compared to all of these, which are designed to go in your boots. So it's going to be a little bit baggier style. You can zip off the lower legs. That's a main feature as well to make these a long length short. They do have pockets on the thighs, which none of the other pants have either. So you have massive storage compartments. You also have a pocket up top, and the closure system is much different also. It uses a buckle with Velcro and a zipper. You also have cinch straps on both sides, so you have more adjustability up here on top. In addition to all the price and the features that we've gone over, the sizing is something to consider. Over here, you're going to find the widest range of sizing. The Assault pants are available in 28 through 44 in certain colorways. You have a 28 through 40 for the Strike, 28 through 38 on the Faction, and 28 through 40 over here on the Recon as well. So price, fit, all those things need to go into your decision making. And keep in mind, you can wear these pants with different styles jerseys. Just because you have a Faction pant doesn't mean you can't use a Strike jersey or vice versa. So feel free to mix and match as well. All of the 2016 Shift jerseys are very similar. However, there are minute differences. So some of the things they all have going for them, they're made from essentially the same materials, polyester base and some mesh components as well. The big difference is how much mesh they use. Also, take a look at the collars and the cuffs. That's really where the big design changes take place as well. So they all have drop tails, designed to be tucked in. It's going to stay in place very well. However, the Recon actually is designed to be worn over the pants. Technically, there's no difference, but it's just a stylistic thing that Shift wants to point out. So let's start over here with this jersey on my right. It's going to be the Assault. It's $32 at full retail price. It's got lots of graphics. They're sublimated, which means you can use them over and over, repeated wash cycles, and they're not going to fade. Same thing goes for the rest of the line as well. So the graphics are very nice. Check out the very basic collar here. Little V-neck design. It sits up pretty tall so you won't get roost down inside. Same thing goes with the cuff. A little bit of stretch material there, but really this is all polyester. 4-panel design, there's really no mesh built into it. As we bump up to the Strike jersey, this is where you're going to start to see a little bit more mesh added. The panels down here along the ribs, in between the chest and the back piece, that's going to give you that mesh you're looking for, better area to exhaust that heat. Also, notice the way that the collar is stitched in. It's still the V-neck design, but a little bit different in the way it's put together. It does have a small rubber logo as well. You don't notice it when you're wearing that. It does not increase the weight. However, it's a stylistic type thing. Now, bumping over to the Faction. This is where you start to see really a lot more in terms of performance. So as the Strike went up to 44 bucks, you're talking about 54 bucks here for the Faction. And this thing has an entire back panel that's made from mesh. Also, you're going to find that the collar area has been redesigned as well. Very low profile, not so much of that V design, and the entire back part from your shoulders wrapping around, this is all made from mesh as well. So this is an area where a lot of heat can get away from your body. The back as well, obviously, as air flows through. So it's nice to see an entire back section that's all mesh. Also, you're going to find differences on the cuffs. These are a low profile style cuff with a little bit of an insert for stretch material, a little bit cleaner look down here. As far as the Recon goes, this thing's about 34 bucks and it's really, really basic. It's very similar to the Assault. A little insert here on the neck is the only difference, and it features a stitched on logo down low rather than a printed logo. So other than that, they're essentially the same. Check them out. Again, keep in mind the mixing and matching factor as well. Oftentimes, gloves seem like an afterthought when you're comparing the technical features of pants and jerseys. However, there's lots going on with these gloves that are going to depend based on your personal preference. So let's go over each of their features. First off, the price tags. The Assault, in line with the rest of their gear, is the most affordable. So you're looking at 19 bucks for the gloves here, 26 for the Strike, 34 on the Faction, and 32 over here for the Recon. Now, in general, the motocross gloves feature less protection than you're going to find on the Recon as well. So if you want the beefiest, burliest thing, look over here. Now let's start taking a look at the cuffs. This is where the differences really come into play. The Assault glove has essentially a very lightweight, no-nonsense cuff. There's no neoprene on it, it's a rolled design. However, the Strike, the Faction, and the Recon all have neoprene built into them, so you'll find increasing levels here. The Strike has a little bit of TPR on the outer wrist, which might give you a little more protection for off-road use especially. Also, for the Faction glove, lots of TPR here, or lots of neoprene rather, the TPR has been extended as well. So the wrap system, the closures are all the same. Velcro that wraps to the inside of the wrist. However, they've extended that on this glove as well, which gives you more protection on the back of the hand. As for the Recon over here, all neoprene all the way around, very, very comfortable, and you have that standard closure system down below. So let's look at the back of the hands. Again, very light duty down here on the lower end of things. No padded protection anywhere on the knuckles or the back of the hand for the Assault or on the Strike glove. However, the Faction glove does have a little tiny TPR badge on top. No hard protection across the knuckles, however. The Recon has the most. TPR badge here, also down leading into the knuckles, and this is a padded neoprene system across the knuckles, so you definitely have more protection here. As for the fingers, they're very straightforward. You've got TPR badging on 3 fingers here on the Assault. You got it on the 4 fingers for the Strike. These do not feature any articulation panels, however. As we move to the upper end gloves, you have 3 badges here in terms of TPR, and you'll have these articulated airprene knuckle systems. These little gussets built in on the first 2 fingers. That gives you more mobility and more comfort for working those control levers. Same thing over here on the Recon. Lots of protection with that TPR, and they actually feature those gussets on all 4 fingers. The material between the fingers is a little bit different as well. It's the same for all the motocross gloves, very lightweight, stretchy material. Over here on the Recon, you will find that this has more of a mesh material. So all of them will flow air, all will be very comfortable. As we flip them over, it gets even deeper on the differences. So the palms get very interesting. They all have reinforcements across the thumb, pretty standard there. They're made from Clarino. They also all feature a printing on the first 2 fingers that will give you extra grip on those control levers, silicone printing across the board. Now, the palm on the Assault glove. This is a single layer Clarino that has a padded design. It is not vented, it's not perforated. You'll find a couple little perfs built in down here, but very, very light. As for the Strike, this also is single layer and padded Clarino as well, but you're gonna notice a little bit more in terms of the perforations for better vent properties. It extends up a little higher here too. You'll notice a little bit of padding here up by the wrist. As for the Faction glove, this one goes to a single layer Clarino, no pads. If you want ultimate feel and control on your bars, this is going to be it. If you've got little baby hands, this is probably not it because it's very thin and lightweight. You'll notice again a little bit of a printing up here as well. As for the Recon glove, now this has dual layer Clarino. There's no padding built in, it's just an extra layer Clarino stitched in. You're going to find that all through the palm and across those heavily wear areas at the base of the fingers. So those regions that get the most wear, this glove is going to last the longest. That pretty much does it for the gloves. Keep in mind, if you want to see any of the items that we've talked about previously, go ahead and click these buttons through. The 2016 lineup of Shift is very attractive in terms of the way it looks, the pricing structure. It's got something for everybody as well. You've seen some helmets behind me this whole time. They don't have a full lineup, they just have one new one, but you want to check that out. It's called the Assault V1. We'll have a video on that as well. Thanks for watching our 2016 overview. I hope it helps you make an informed decision. Enjoy your Shift racing wear for the upcoming race season.